What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Bluger 97 here to talk to you about My Hero Academia, manga chapter 233, titled Onwards to the Endeavor Hero Agency. Spoiler, they don't make it to the actual agency, to be precise, but that's besides the point. When it comes to this chapter of My Hero, the premise is very simple. Todoroki, Bakugo, Deku, they meet Endeavor, or specifically Bakugo and Deku meet Endeavor, and they, for the most part, this chapter is just a launching off point for the next arc. What is it going to be? We don't know for sure. All we know is that it will involve Endeavor, Deku, Bakugo, Shoto, and possibly Hawks as well. That is something I'll elaborate more towards the end of this chapter. But starting off this chapter is not actually the chapter itself, but the Shonen Jump cover page, which stars Deku and Ochako and just many of the Class 1A kids as Mochi Balls and All Might as the Sun. I really enjoyed this cover page of Shonen Jump. It's very entertaining and it's very adorable. And then actually going to the color page for this chapter, it is just as great because you have if I remember correctly, you have obviously Deku, Shoto, Bakugo, Ochako, Kirishima, and then you have Pinky. I forgot her actual name, but it's the pink girl who spits acid, Alien Queen. And they're just all like in like a band aesthetic, like they're like basically like band members in a trash room. It's very like aesthetically pleasing to me, mainly because it's like mainly in shades of like red and orange and yellow. And it's really a well done cover page, and like it's like very like rocker like, especially Bakugo, who it looks like he has a beer bottle in his hand like this, but it's like more or less like a cola bottle because he's like 16, 17, so he can't drink. But like it's just like everyone here, it's just the expression of like being like a rock star, and like I find like it like very enjoyable. But going into the actual chapter, we actually just start off with basically Deku's mom having a seizure, because it is elaborated that, well, y'all know that the students can't leave the dorm room because they have to live on campus. So the school basically decides, hey, during the New Year's Eve, we'll let everyone go home to their family, but only if a hero is with them, because like of all the instances that have happened, they need at least a hero escort to like get them to go home. So like they all go home, and for the next few pages we just follow Deku, and he's talking to his mom, and long story short, his mom is very proud of him, and she's like very like excited and like to the point of like tears, and is happy that Deku's able to live his dream. And this is elaborated more when Deku gets another letter from Eri-chan, where apparently she does not know how to write, which makes it even more adorable when you read the letter, and it basically is like, thanks for the dancing and the singing and the apples, good luck on your quirk, and she's just being so adorable. But this also builds into Deku's character, because this is what Deku has always wanted. He always wanted to be a hero just like All Might and saving people, and being able to see this just shows how close he is to that goal, as well as showing his mother how much he has grown to be able to do this. And she recollects on the fact that, yeah, this is basically what I wanted. I always wanted you to be happy, and I've always wanted to protect you, that even when like you didn't have any powers, you couldn't be a hero, I was still there to support you no matter what. Which is very interesting, because what she's doing to Deku is kind of like the opposite parallel to what happened with Shigaraki Tomura, where he also had a mother who, if she had supported his like wanting to be a hero, he could have ended up similar to Deku. Or if like Deku's mom was like, you can't be a hero, Deku could have been doing the exact same thing, going down the path of villain. So if anything, this is a great parallel. And like this like just swelling of power basically brings both of them to tears, and then they flip their apartment. And I think this is what I really enjoy about the My Hero world, is that these weird things happen, but they can just be explained away as quirks. Like Deku and like his mom like just tears like bursting out of their like face, like all these tears. Realistically speaking, it could just be a trait of like a quirk that was in their family long ago. So you can really explain like some of the wackiness of like My Hero through quirks and like through genetics. That doesn't really make sense in the real world, but in that world it makes sense, and like I just did really enjoy that gag. So after that, we actually just get back onto, like, Deku gets back onto the bus to go back to his internship while he's saying goodbye to my mom. And then we actually cut towards Hawks as he goes to what we can assume is the Liberation Army. I cannot really think of, like, the former villain arc. Like, the villain's new hideout, which is like a fancy mansion, and Hawks had to leave to basically like get coffee, when in reality he was probably gone to like talk to his informant about the fact that he's getting closer and closer to the villains, but they still don't trust him, so now they have to start speaking basically in code now. But when he comes back, he gets chastised by the derpiest person here, Slide and Go. And Slide and Go's basically saying, hey, Hawks, I know you're new here, but you can't leave without permission. I'm superior than you. I'm your higher up. I am also older than you. So, and then you just have Hawks just like, aye. But then you see one of like the big Liberation Army members, higher ups. He's like, oh, so you're over him? I did not know that, Slide and Go. And then he basically goes on as like, do you possess a high enough level to infiltrate the government? Can you have full control of the connections with information? Are you able to basically discover like data communication, data location? And then Slide and Go's just like, no, was basically his response is. And he's like, basically what the dude is saying is like, Hawks is literally the most important person in this group. It's like, and then he gives like a diagram. It's like, you can barely look inside of this organization. Hawks can literally go into the furthest depths. And then he basically is like, yo, it's okay. You can run and get your coffee. And he's like, I just like my tweet. And then we get into a point in which like he's basically talking to people and it's like, yo, they're watching me. We have to keep these conversations like with his like informant at a low level, and you may not be able to do it for a while. So it ties into that. Also, a weird thing is that there's someone in this specific picture who it looks like a man, but he's wearing a dress. It's just something for you to know. I'm not judging or anything, it's just something I noticed. But then we immediately cut to seeing Endeavor's face, and he's smiling. He's like, welcome to Endeavor's Hero Agency, and he's just smiling. And when I first saw this, I'm like, oh no, oh gosh, go back to like angry Endeavor with that face, oh gosh. But now it's grown on me a little bit. I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. He's smiling. But then we get a hard cut to the Endeavor that we all know, love, and hate, where he's like, psych, as if I would be friendly to y'all. And I'm like, yep, there's the Endeavor we know. So yeah, he basically hasn't really changed that much. He has changed somewhat, but he hasn't changed like basically like how he like is presented to people. And he basically just goes on like a small rant of like, the only reason why y'all here is because Shoto asked me to. Like, I don't care about anybody else but Shoto, which kind of goes into like his older facade. But later on it is established that, yeah, but he has changed. And this is seen by Deku. But probably the best observation that any of these three have made, Bakugo, Shoto, Deku, it is Bakugo who makes the best observation. And it's like, you're just one big stick in the mud. And he's like, it's just funny because like, really, pot calling the kettle black. Hello, Bakugo. Because like, he's something similar, because Bakugo is similar to Endeavor, which is also something that All Might also brings up. It's like, oh yeah, y'all are very similar. And that's something that happened later on. But basically, we understand the mindset of Bakugo. It's like, Bakugo's like top hero, but I have to deal with Deku and Icy Hot. And he's like, And like what's funny is like it's not like a big like difference. It's like top hero slightly is more important than like Deku and Midori. It's like barely off level. And then Endeavor is like, are these your friends? And this is where like basically Deku makes this comment of like, we're so happy that you're interning him. And then like he admits like, yo, at first you scared me. Like Endeavor used to scare him, but now he's like changed, like his aura has changed, which is something that we have seen within like the past few not chapters, but volumes of manga, starting at the Endeavor arc, or the top hero arc. And now we cut more into the past, where we see both Bakugo, All Might, and Deku. They're talking to each other. Basically, it's the group that knows about All for One, or One for All, sorry. And like they basically is how All Might's like, I'm so glad that y'all are interning with him. It's good to like know that y'all are going to be working for him. And he also makes reference like, oh yeah, Bakugo, also Deku, how's like you learning about the quirks? Has any other ones popped up? And we get a little bit more understanding of like how Deku is able to control it. It's basically like a door. He's able to unlock the power and lock the power whenever he needs to, but as we know, it's not that strong. But by doing so, he prevents incidents. So like it's basically like getting more touch base on like how he will be eventually able to control this power. And then we have Bakugo who chimes in, and it's like, oh yeah, I would have already like mastered all of those powers by now. And Deku's like, I know you would have. And then this ties into like how All Might says, yo, I'm so glad that y'all are both giving me Endeavor during like when he's changing. This is a great opportunity, don't waste it. By the way, Bakugo, you really remind me of Endeavor. So then it just cuts like them back into like Endeavor, and like he's like, everyone's like, okay, so what are we going to do now, Endeavor? Like what's gonna happen? And like Endeavor just has this like solemn face of like, I'm not really like Shoto, which in my mind it's like, yo, when I was Shoto's age, I didn't even have like friends. So I think this is like him realizing like, oh yeah, he's not gonna be like me. And he's kind of sad, but kind of relieved about that, at least when I see it. And then he immediately jumps into the street and starts running. And he's like, by the way, I have no like time to deal with like you besides Shoto. So if you want to learn from me, watch me from behind. But then he looks back and he sees that they're already like in preparation to like fly it. Even Deku's like, instructions please. Like they're like basically like not like seasoned heroes, but they're like getting to that point where they can just jump into action. And all Endeavors are just, okay, watch me. And then we eventually see like this one villain who we obviously know is a villain, who is probably like equivalent to like one of those like guys that you may see on the street with the signs that says, the end is coming, the end is coming, be wary of the end of days, the world is doomed. Yeah, he's basically those people, but instead he has superpowers. So he's like 12 times like more dangerous. He's just in the city, and like he's like on bubbles or spheres, basically saying that the people of Japan are doomed, and he's giving this prophecy, which in reality they kind of are, because the villains have basically this huge massive army, and like he's just sending out these balls and like attacking the city. And you have Hawks at the top of like this big skyscraper reading one of the Special Abilities Liberation Front books. And he's like, well, this is poor timing, because chances are high enough he probably won't interfere because it conflicts with him wanting to be a part of the League of Villains, and this is probably something that they are looking for. But then he's also a hero, so he should help. So yeah, this ties into the fact that like he's like still putting up this front, and now is considering whether or not he's going to participate, and also whether or not he's going to be a big factor of this arc, because we see him at the end of this chapter. So that's basically the end of the chapter. And when it comes to the chapter itself, I thought it was a very enjoyable chapter. When it comes to the enjoyment that I got from this chapter, I'm pretty sure I got more enjoyment from the previous chapter. But when it comes to this chapter, how it is structured, everything that it's setting up, I would say it's like a little bit better, because everything in this chapter is pretty much important to the story. While in the previous chapter, it's a lot more fluff. Like we get more character development and character like motivations, as well as not character development, but more of like character growth and character motivations, as and also a little bit of character development on Endeavor's part, and character growth through Deco, and character motivations through like Hawks and Bakugan and all of them. So all in all, I think this is probably like a little bit better of a chapter. I forgot what number I gave the other one, but I'll probably give this one like maybe like I'll give it like a solid like 4. Because I thought it was a really good chapter, but I didn't think it was like super amazing. If anything, I'll bump it up to like 4.1, just because these numbers are arbitrary and it's just what I think. But all in all, very good chapter. I enjoyed it. Oh wait, I forgot. What is today? Oh, today is Thursday. Yes, the chapter came out earlier. That's something I didn't bring up at the beginning, so I'm bringing it up at the end. So if you're still watching this, came out a little bit earlier. That's why I'm posting it on Thursday. But normally it comes out on Fridays, and if not, Thursdays may be the new day I post, which in reality are probably best for me because it means I can probably get these out early on Thursdays than I can on Friday at this point in time. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this review, and I will catch you guys later. Bye. Woo.